best reasons that someone might want to travel to that country. These are going to be main ideas. So the big main idea. So choose 3. For example, we've been studying about Japan in the Middle Ages. If I were going to write an essay, a persuasive essay, about trying to convince someone to travel to Japan, I might say, well, one reason to go is for the food because, sushi. Okay? And then so you choose 3 important ideas about the country you've been studying. You can look at your notes if you need to, and write each main idea in one of these bubbles. Leave yourself a little bit of space to write some supporting details, but do that now.
Wait. The thing that we have to do, does it have to be the report that we're doing it on?
This is completely separate from that, and this is just for today's writing activity.
So what do we write about?
So what you're going to do is choose 3 reasons that someone might want to travel to. What country are you researching?
Kenya.
Kenya. What's cool or interesting about that place?
That it has a good climate.
It does?
Yeah.
Is there anything different about Kenya than here in the United States?
Some of it's the way that they dress.
Okay, so traditional clothing in Kenya might be something that you choose to write about?
Yeah.
What else is different?
The way they talk.
Okay, so a different language might be another reason. And you know what I can think of? A reason I might really want to visit Kenya is that there's different animals there. And I think that one best reason that would convince me to go to Kenya would be to see the wild animals that live there. Okay? So you choose 3 good reasons for someone to travel to the country you've been studying. And write those main ideas down now. 1, 2, 3.
You guys are still not good.
I'm looking around the room at the graphic organizers, and I'm noticing that people have some main ideas written down, but I also am noticing that that first box looks pretty empty. And so someone remind me, what needs to go in the box that says introduction? What do we need to do for a reader in the introduction? Crystal?
Telling them why, the introduction's like telling them what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah, except do we ever start an essay with my essay is going to be about? No, because that puts our reader to sleep. So we need something a little bit trickier than that. And so help me out. If my essay is going to be about Japan, and I'm trying to convince my reader that Japan is the best place to visit, what might a good main idea or topic sentence be? What might be a good way to start and tell, what's the main thing I want to say about Japan?
Where it's at, or
The location?
yeah.
Is that going to be my main idea? What do
No,
you think?
like just the
Oh, go
place.
ahead.
The place.
The place? Something about the place of Japan, yeah. But what am I trying to tell my reader about Japan?
That it's the best place to go because
That it's the best place. So
And
give
then
me
you
a
start with your
sentence
reasons.
that tells my reader that that's the best place to go.
Japan is the best place to go because of its climate.
Could
No.
I make that sentence even shorter, Adriana, and say Japan is the best place to visit?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? That's a whole sentence. And
And then, like,
then
with your
my
ideas.
because we always want to say because, and keep going, you know?
Stop.
Those are going to be these next paragraphs, aren't they?
Yeah.
With our best evidence. That's the because part. But in the introduction, I'm just going to give the main idea. So now look at your paper and decide what's a good opening sentence that gives the main idea. What's your introduction going to start with? How can you write a sentence using the country that you're researching? Okay, and now what are you going to want to tell your reader about Kenya? Are we ready to start talking about culture and style, climate and style?
Yeah.
Are we? Because
No.
no, not yet. We have to tell them why we want to talk about these things, huh? So how can I finish this sentence in a way that's going to help my reader know what my plan is?
What's your country?
Thailand.
To enjoy different things, many different activities or something like that. That's wonderful. Very good. Which one is more persuasive or more convincing, or which one do you believe more? China's a kind of good place, I guess. Or Italy is the most interesting place in the world to travel. First or second one?
Second.
First one?
Yeah.
Second one. How many people think the first one is, oh, that's a great way to start an essay, yeah. Oops. How many people think the second one? Yeah, it's easier to write an essay when you start with a really strong, persuasive statement. So check your introduction bubble. Make sure that you've written a sentence that sounds like you know what your opinion is. This is the best place. Not kinda, or I guess, or sorta, but this is the best. This is the best. Yeah.
Still kind of don't get it.
Your sentence and let's see if we can help.
Germany is a good place to visit in the summer.
Germany is a good place to visit in the summer. So I'm going to guess that in the next three bubbles, the next three places on your graphic organizer, you have ideas that explain why Germany is a great place to visit in the summer. Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, then that's an excellent main idea sentence. Anyone else have questions? I'm not quite sure about your main idea. Yeah.
I don't know how to start the thing.
Well, read what you have so far and I'll help you.
I don't know nothing.
Well, do you have something written in there? Do you mind if I read it? Okay.
No, I
Or do you want to read it?
Because this is supposed to go right here.
Okay, well, so you want to switch it around. That's okay. So remember that our main idea is going to be the one thing we're trying to do with our essay, our purpose for writing it. And do you remember what the purpose for writing this essay is going to be? No? Who can help out? What's the reason, Ruth, we're writing this essay?
To convince the reader why this is the best place in the world to visit.
To convince the reader why this is the best place to visit, right? And which country are you learning about? Tanzania. So you're Tanzania. Yeah? Tanzania. So you're going to be writing for our reader about why Tanzania is the best place to visit. Could you say that in one sentence? Could you say that Tanzania was the best place to visit? Or like I said, Japan is the best place to visit? Yeah, you could write a sentence like that, couldn't you? Yeah, that's all we're looking for here. And then these are going to be your reasons. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you want a minute to do that? Yeah. Okay. While you're doing that, think of 3 reasons why Japan might be a good place to visit. Sushi, I said, right? So the food. And then I'm really interested in Zen Buddhism. So we've learned about that. And then, Ismail, did you say the samurai?
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Maybe I want to go there and learn about the samurai. That's a great idea.
Or actually be one.
I'm going to become a samurai? All that milk I'm drinking, I'm ready. Okay, so now we've got the first 3 B's of our 4B essay. We've got best evidence, best evidence, best evidence. And then the 4th part is the but with 1 T. Be careful. Which is opposing evidence, or a reason someone might not agree with your opinion. So, let's think. What's a reason someone might not want to travel all the way to Japan? Maria, could you help me think of a reason someone might not want to travel to Japan?
It's very far.
It's very far. So could you help me write a sentence that might work there?
It's a long distance from here.
It is, well, let's say Japan instead of it, huh? Now take a look at the country you are researching. Take a look at your notes and think about one opposing piece of evidence or one reason that somebody might not want to travel there. Okay? And write that down where it says but. Yes?
Just put come to Molly because.
But that's not a full sentence. So you want a complete sentence and then some supporting evidence.
When you go, you don't have a car, like, to go where you want to? Like your own personal car?
Okay. So one reason someone might not want to travel to what country?
South Korea?
To South Korea is that when they arrived, they
have
wouldn't
no-
have a car.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a reasonable thing. Okay, maybe. That you can give a good argument to that. What's a reason they should go anyway?
There's taxis.
So there are taxis. Are they easy to find in South
Yeah.
Korea? Yeah, so give me a whole sentence.
It's still good to go to South Korea anyways because there's taxis waiting for you.
Right. Okay. Still good to go to South Korea because there's taxis waiting for you. Okay? So now everybody take a look at the but statement you made, the opposing evidence, and then convince the reader that you're still right. Other people might think this, but I'm still right because. Okay? I'm going to hang on to this because it seems like that's not what we're working on. We have a 4B essay for persuasive writing, right? We did best evidence, best evidence, best evidence. We did but, the opposing viewpoint, and then we do a conclusion. What's that for?
To like re-say what you have been talking about in one sentence.
So we kind of remind and rewind. We rewind all the way through the essay and we remind the reader why we did all this. Why did we say all this? So looking at my essay, I'm telling you that Japan is the best place to visit. I'm going to give you some examples to support these 3 ideas. Then I'm going to say, Japan is a long distance from here, but it's worth the time to travel there. I'll give you some opposing evidence. So what might be a good concluding sentence or 2? How am I going to rewind and remind my reader that I had a reason for talking about Japan all this time? I'm noticing some quiet people today. Who am I going to ask to help me? That's been kind of quiet. Anthony. You have been unusually quiet today. If I'm going to remind the reader for the purpose or the reason, the position that I have, how can I remind my reader why I was writing about Japan? What's a sentence that would tell the reader kind of what this was all about?
Japan is a good place because even though it's far away, it has lots of good things to like visit and stuff.
Let's think about that formal school writing we do when we're here. Japan has many, you said,
Good cultures that you would like or something?
Cultural, what do I want to say? Has many cultural events and experiences. So, now is your moment to actually write the paragraphs. What you're going to do is use this graphic organizer that you have just filled out, and I will give you a big chunk of time. And on your blank paper, Luis, you're going to turn this from an ugly graphic organizer into a beautiful, persuasive essay. Does that make sense? Yeah, you've done this before, and I know you know how to do it. I'm going to give you about 25 or 30 minutes to write. You'll have plenty of time. Yeah. I'll be there in a second. Yes, I do. Sabrina, you should be writing too. The idea is to say a few things in the introduction that that are going to make your reader be interested in what you have to say, right? So, so you might start out by saying something like, "Oh, imagine you," like I did at the beginning of class. Imagine you could travel anywhere, right? Imagine you won the lottery, right? And you could travel anywhere. Or you might start by saying, many people like to travel. Just a general statement, right? And you decide how you want your essay to be. But then say, but I'm not just talking about traveling, right? You want to tell your reader, this is what I want you to pay attention to. You might want to travel anywhere, but what I want you to pay attention to is this main idea that China's the greatest place to travel ever. Or that Iran has important things to explore, and it's the best place to important things to explore. That's wonderful.
Or you could be like, if you're thinking of somewhere to travel to, let me help you.
That's a wonderful way to start. Yeah, I like that because it sounds like, come on, come with me, come with me. That's a good introduction. I know you're going to be talking about why France is the good place. And I know what you're going to do next is that you're going to choose one of those transitional phrases we talked about, those bridge phrases, that's going to bring me from this into your first example. I want to give you guys an idea of some of the really good writing that I've seen in this room today. So I'm just going to ask a couple of students to share out what they have so far.
If you are thinking of traveling somewhere, let me help you make up your mind. Italy is the #1 place in the world to visit. First of all, there are more than 10,000 monuments, including temples. All of these art figures have a story or history behind it. Another reason why you should travel to Italy is their wine. They have the best wine in the world. It is processed there with some of the best grape crops there.
Outstanding. Un aplauso for Ruth. Excellent beginning.